So I would say security and volatility are probably the most misunderstood, where Bitcoin's the most secure thing you could ever own with no counterparty risk. And Bitcoin, I hope it continues to be volatile, because that means it's going to continue to be the best performing. It's just math.
Next question. With Bitcoin's market cap skyrocketing, do you see any risks of governments trying to intervene to suppress growth? This is Lisa from Georgia.
Yeah, great question, Lisa. I think the opposite. We may be seeing that play out in the US. This is going to sound cheesy, but the reality in my career is you're better off on Bitcoin's team than fighting against it. And that's a lot of the game theory that's been designed within the system. But by joining Bitcoin, in many ways, for folks like Michael Saylor or the US government, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You joining the network, you immediately gain existing benefits, and the new additions that you add push it to new heights, versus trying to ban something you can't ban, trying to control something you can't control, trying to stop something that's using superior technology. So the game theory is such that you can spend your life failing trying to fight it, or you can change your life just getting on its team. So I think what we'll see is people that find benefit in Bitcoin, and there's various different ways you can, and actually joining the network as opposed to trying to fight it, because no one's been successful, and you're incentivized to rather just gain the benefits instead.
Amen. All right, let's go to the next question. How do you balance the potential rewards of investing in cryptocurrencies with the inherent risks, especially for new investors? Brandon from California.
I'm going to take an aggressive answer to this. I would say, now I can't speak to other cryptos. For everyone listening, I own 3 things in my life. I actually don't own any dollars at all. I only own Bitcoin. I own my house. I own my company. And that's how I live my life. So I can only speak to those. So I'll speak to Bitcoin. I would say this is the only asset you can own with no risk in the sense of counterparty risk. I don't want to excuse the volatility, and I don't want to set unrealistic expectations. It can be volatile, but risk meaning I'm not trusting anyone else. There's no corporate CEO that can fail a product launch. There's no board member that can get hit by a bus and get in a disaster. There's no government that can change the regulatory this and that. Like, I own it physically bare. It's mine. I have no counterparty risk. And so to me, it's actually the least risky thing I own. For my house, I have property taxes. I have an HOA. There's a building and a staff. What if there's a natural disaster here in Chicago? I have counterparty risks there. For my company, I have employees. What if an employee leaks secret information? What if someone tweets from our account that it violates terms of service? There's risk involved there. For my Bitcoins, they sit physically on a hardware device, and I don't have to trust anyone, and there's no counterparty risk for me. So I would look at Bitcoin as the least risky. Where there is risk is don't invest more than you can afford to be volatile. You know, what I tell people all the time is live within your means. You know, don't spend more than you make. Prioritize your future, understand saving, build a lifestyle for yourself where you can afford to think long-term. And those are the type of risks that Bitcoin potentially poses, but I wouldn't consider that Bitcoin's risk to own. If you're not in a position to invest in something volatile and you want returns, then I would suggest changing your lifestyle. Sorry if that's hard-hitting truths, but that's what I lived through myself, and that's the honest advice I have.
Good answer. Let's go to the next one. What is your best advice for an aspiring entrepreneur? David from Florida.
Wow. It's a great question.